Everyone's got these high-definition cameras in their pockets. You know, you think of them as smartphones, but really they're as powerful as the most powerful laptops a few years ago, and they allow you to document the world around you in really high definition. And one of the places where people use them a lot is live music, because it's that incredible kind of shared experience. I'm sure everyone here recognizes that gig that you've been to, maybe the band that you hadn't heard before, or you're at a festival and you stumble onto a stage and you're just like, wow, this is absolutely incredible. And it's about the talent of the artists, but it's also about the people who are there with you and just the vibe. And you could get the exact same band playing the exact same song the next night in the same group of people, but the atmosphere wouldn't quite be the same. So people want to document these things. And where does that video content go? How many people here have videoed a band playing that they're like, oh, this is class, and then kind of gone home, listened to about 10 seconds of it, gone, right, that sounds crap, and then just delete? Anyone here done that? Yeah, okay. So it's kind of a simple concept, but what if the band actually said to people, because it's a bit controversial filming live music as well. Sometimes people are like, well, enjoy the moment, don't look at it through the screen of a phone. So the concept of fan footage regarding live music is the band picks one song from their set and says, okay, let's make a cool video together. So everyone takes out their phones and cameras, films from their own personal perspective. But one of the key things we do is the band arranges a proper live audio recording that they're happy with, because ultimately music is what's going on, so it has to sound right. And our technology is able to automatically sync up all the fan videos with the proper live audio recording. So then you can watch back that song, it sounds great, and you can watch from all the different fan viewpoints. So if you were at the back, you can look at what it's like from the front. If there was an amazing light show, you can be down the back. And we've done everything from 2 or 3 people filming a band on the street at South by Southwest to we've worked with Cathal in a recent sold-out O2 show, and we worked with Bon Jovi and acts like that before. So yeah, it's kind of exciting.
Okay, sorry, I was kind of gobsmacked listening to that, and it sounds pretty good. It's a big change from the recording of this will be strictly prohibited and all devices will be removed and taken from you. So what's been the big shift? Why have people started to see that this is valuable?
I could use a choice phrase like pissing in the wind, for example. Like if you're trying to stop people from recording events that go on around you, you're fighting a losing battle. You could legitimately 10 years ago have a rule of no cameras and try and take cameras off people. You can't take a phone off somebody. And the other thing is they're filming for the right reasons usually. They're passionate about what they're seeing. They want to share it with other people. Therefore, they want to capture it from their own personal perspective. So a handful of artists, Prince is one of them, employs a bunch of people. You upload anything to do with Prince and you get a Paisley Park Enterprises has, issued a takedown. That actually annoys people quite a lot because, like I said, they were there, they paid for a ticket. And the other thing is, like, the future of the music industry is live. And that's what was the music industry before we invented vinyl and were able to make recordings. It's those shared experiences. So fan footage is about channeling that and turning. I always feel like at an event sometimes you feel like just a number in the crowd, and it's all about the people on stage. And it's kind of cool, that moment, the first time you got a backstage pass, or the first time you had even a small job to do at a show, is kind of exciting. So actually, to play on some of the things John was talking about, to kind of say, hey, everybody, you're the film crew. Get involved and help capture this moment. I'm a massive believer in the psychology of technology. Like there was a time when the wheel was the latest technology. Technology is what we call the newest tools that we have to use. So in that sense, yeah, it's broadband, and we have patented audio matching technology, all that. That's just in the background. But really, I think what we're doing by making groups of people come together and contribute all their memories and make something powerful together is quite cool.
By the way, I don't know if anyone noticed the common theme with the last 3 speakers. They're talking about what technology enables as opposed to the boring crap of the technology itself. You do need to do that. You do need money to do that. So can you tell us some of the story of what it took to build this without going into the ghastly details?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I was just chatting with the Red Empire lads earlier, and they're actually going to be, the first song they do, their new single is going to be on FanFootage as well, so everyone gets to play the game in a moment. But it's kind of comparable to building a band. I mean, it takes, first of all, a commitment to say, let's do this. And I was quite close to emigrating to China. I had some opportunities over there. I was lecturing out in DCU, and I was just toying around with video opportunities, and this came together from working my ass off, volunteering at the Galway Arts Festival, figuring out how live music videos were made, how it all came together. But I remember the moment of saying, right, I think I can make a go of doing this. And I think that's one massive thing, is just committing to doing something. Ideas are so cheap. Innovative ideas, everyone in the room here has some good ideas in their head. But actually turning that into a vehicle and slowly kind of gathering momentum and making it happen, that's the massively important thing. So I remember just committing to, screw it, I'm going to try and do this, because in 20 years' time, if I don't try and do it, I'll have massive regrets about it, because someone's going to do this. And then I suppose beyond that, it's about finding a great team of people. Catherine and Min are over there in the corner. You know, it's so empowering to just have stuff happen and come together around you. And if you have passion for something and you're committed to it and you persevere, good things happen to you. Lots of bad things happen, lots of things go wrong, but you'd be surprised who comes out of the woodwork and who kind of says, oh, that's a good idea, I'll get on board. So like one of the members of our team, Rowan Devereaux, made a brilliant career in the online insurance business, and he came on board and has contributed. He's invested some of his own personal money to it, which has taken us to the next stage. So like bit by bit, Drera Caelar a Hoachtar na Caisleán is the Irish phrase, brick by brick the castle is made. So you just keep plugging at things and it comes together.
It's a great story, and again, it's I think somebody once said, passion makes the dreams feel like trips, and it takes away a lot of the pain of the bad stuff, right? So you just don't see, sure, that doesn't matter, you just keep going. But in terms of actually creating you actually had to sit down, you had to persuade these team members. At some stage, you have to eat. So do you fund it? What's that journey been, and when do you actually get to somebody somewhere saying, you know what, I'll pay for this, or has that already happened?
Yeah, no, we've earned revenue from things we're doing. It's very brand sponsor friendly, so like the idea of brands always want to do interactive things, so they get involved. So we do earn revenue from what we do. I suppose being very persuasive gets you a good start and helps move things initially. Being creative around equity and sharing the success or the potential of success with other people is really important. Like I said, we were fortunate. Rowan Devereaux is our Chief Commercial Officer, and he was coming off the back of a great success in the insurance industry, so he got involved. So, and then on the back of that, there's a fantastic resource. You hear lots of people sometimes with bad words to say about them, but Enterprise Ireland is an incredible resource for Irish startups. You need to fill out a lot of paperwork, but that's because it's taxpayers' money. So, I see that's a fair kind of bargain to make. So they've supported us. And again, I suppose the comparison with the lads in the band, VC money, a lot of people celebrate this idea of raising funding. And if you want to do things, raising funding is one way of doing it, but it's almost like signing with a label. You need to be careful about bringing in funding because it can fundamentally change the course of your business. So we made a deliberate decision to go as far as we could on our own steam, so that we were the people who were able to make decisions without shareholders screaming, but you said you'd be doing this by now, and why hasn't this happened? Well, ultimately, like, your best projections are just that, projections. But right now we are actually looking at doing a proper fundraising round to give us a bit more. We think this space is incredible. We think we have the potential to be kind of the next evolution of YouTube. We did our first sports event recently with AIB and the GAA. We're hopefully going to be doing some very big sports events as well in the near future. So this idea of capturing the world around you, but in a more structured way than what YouTube is doing, is huge. So we feel, but yeah, hold off on funding from VCs and people like that as long as you can. Try and get money from people who share the passion that you have for what you're doing.
There's another thing which is becoming quite prevalent, because at one level you're getting fans to collaborate, and just there we had bands collaborating with fans. Have you thought of collaborating with other companies who are in a similar yet not necessarily competitive space?
Yeah, well, look, again, sometimes even, in an early stage with your idea or your startup, people can be very precious about your idea, whereas that's the wrong approach. Someone has had the idea already, they just haven't executed on it. So, yeah, absolutely, what we try and do is, I know John in Whole World Band very well. We know lots of other people involved in the startup scene in Dublin. We're constantly sharing contacts, sharing experiences, sharing advice. Everyone's an expert on someone else's startup, by the way. Everyone can give incredible advice about other people's problems, and then when people start saying it to you, you're like, yeah, you don't understand. It's more complicated than that. But
my ego you're talking about.
Yeah, but there is something special happening in Dublin, and particularly this is why this is such a great event, and it's brilliant to have everyone here, because there's this confluence of an incredibly talented live music scene, so much talent, and I'm continually blown away by new bands and new genres of music. And at the same time, something really special is happening in the tech scene. It's not bullshit. It's not just the government claiming stuff. There are enough people who are coming out of companies. Say, I know an Argentinian guy who came over to work for Google and then decided, hey, I want to do a startup myself. So he's based in Dogpatch Labs. There's a ton of people doing interesting things in Dublin, and the rising tide does genuinely lift all boats. It means investors and bands and all sorts of brands, digital agencies, all stuff is happening in Dublin. What other companies are there? So we're hugely into collaborating with people as much as possible. The only problem with a startup is engineering time. Like, trying to build a product is really hard. So sometimes there's a lot of things that you'd love to do, but it's very important to be able to say no as well. I think that's crucial. So
your lesson to anyone?
I was actually just thinking it's nice not to be the first person to have to give the lesson. I would echo a few of the things said earlier. I think every day is a school day is a really good mantra, because everything that can go wrong will go wrong. Every time you're really excited about something and you think it's a massive breakthrough, suddenly something happens and it all falls apart. So, just accept that and move on. When something really bad happens, try and just send an email, ring someone, try and make something good happen. Building a great team of people around you is massive as well. You don't have to do everything, and if you are able to build a bit of a tribe around you, that's an incredibly empowering thing. I think perseverance as well, man. Like, Niall, I suspect, might talk about this going on, but like, all the overnight successes take a lot of hard work. Take those 2 a.m. emails, take I won't be able to pay you tomorrow, but look, bear with me, I'll give you some money, and next week, the week after. So, but just if you have a good idea, go for it. There's everyone out there is doing 9-to-5 stuff, and again, this is why, like, all these guys like Red Empire, they were all mad enough to do what they do, and they have to get up on a stage every day or 3 times a week to do what they do. So relative to what they have to do, what we're doing is pretty easy. But yeah, just pick something you're really passionate about and commit to doing it, and you'll be surprised what happens.
Thank you very much indeed, Cathal. Big hand for Cathal.
Thank you.